I worked on an animation last night. Or really just a animatic, if we're being a bit more technical on the term. And it took me 3 hours to complete 30 seconds, which is 10 seconds per hour. After doing this, I went straight to bed. I was woken up by my mom at around 7, and she wanted to show me progress on her videos that she's working on as well, including a recording of a story that she read. Now, at that point, I only had 4 hours of sleep, and I really wasn't in the mood to be hearing any updates at the moment due to my very tired eyes. I tried to say, well, that's good, and go straight back to sleep after she showed me. And afterwards, when I was getting into a nice, comfortable, deep rest, I was called out again at around 8:30 to eat some huevos rancheros. Now, I love huevos rancheros, especially when it's made by my mom or my mom's friend. But man, was I in the nastiest of moods you could possibly imagine. The weight of my feelings was very much evident in the air, and just the look on my face. I did not want to be there at that meal table. I just wanted to go back to sleep because of the limited amount of time that I got sleeping. Now, I admit I was very rude and grumpy in terms of my presence. I could have taken the grumpy factor out and just tried to enjoy my food and my time with my loved ones, but I was so gung-ho about going back to sleep that all other thoughts and emotions were muted. Eventually, I did go back to sleep, and when I did, I tried listening to some calming music to kind of help me loosen up as I was sleeping. Then, at around 9:20, my mom woke me up to go to church today. At this church sermon, I decided to write in my journal as the pastor was talking about his lesson. For example, I want to improve in my editing skills and my drawing skills, but instead of immediately jumping on the horse and riding to dawn, I decide to instead sit on my butt and watch random junk online, like just stuff that doesn't even relate to each other. Stuff that's interesting for sure, like why did the hydrogen car fail? Or what is the meaning of human language if a particular tribe that was cut off from modern human civilization doesn't know how to count? Various other interesting subjects that can't capture my fancy. But what am I going to do with this information? I mean, sure, I could use it to help inspire me writing stories that could entertain people, but that's only if I'm intentionally using that information in that way. Instead, I'm kind of just stockpiling stuff. I'm an information hoarder. It's a real problem. I need a purpose to why I'm gathering information in the first place, and that's my big issue. I am not putting purpose behind any of it. I am simply just consuming for the sake of consuming. And let me tell you, it's given me this feeling of being stuck in quicksand and not being able to push myself out. Like, I know I want to get out, and I know this isn't pushing me forward, but it just draws me in and sucks me in lower. And despite how hard I try to budge myself, I don't get out because I'm being all consumed by this quicksand of watching endless media. So this is a really big issue. It has proven to me that I have a very overstimulated mind, and this has made me seriously question what is the point of this all-consuming attitude. I mean, it's good if you're consuming for a good reason, but if you're not, it's pointless. Okay, I'm starting to repeat myself. Moving on, what else can I talk about? Gosh, I kind of got off on a tangent there, didn't I? Oh yeah, I was writing in that journal at church and I told you everything you need to know. Moving on, me and my mom decided to go to McDonald's. It was my idea because I wanted 2 double cheeseburgers and a large fry. And My mom wanted something for taking me there, so I got her a Happy Meal, and we actually played around with the stuff that was in the box. It was Pokemon themed, and so she got like a poster and stickers and trading cards, and she wanted me to take pictures of her holding the box and unboxing and holding all the stuff that came in the box as sort of like a funny gag thing, and then putting it in our family group chat to laugh over. And it was a lot of fun. I liked it. Afterwards, we decided to watch a video about the hydrogen car and why it failed, which I already discussed. Yeah, it was a very interesting video. Apparently it's like not as efficient as electric and not super environmentally friendly either, and the refueling stations for that type of car are mostly predominated in California and very rarely located anywhere else in the United States, making it kind of an inconvenient car to own or have. So I honestly don't know what the people who designed it were thinking. After this, I needed to get ready for work, and as I was getting ready, my mom and our mom's friend were watching videos of me that I posted on my YouTube channel. Is currently being played right now. I have to say it was kind of surreal and a little strange feeling seeing and hearing myself on the TV while other people were kind of inspecting me. I mean, although I did it myself, like I put myself out there, I should expect to hear what people have to say about it. It was just like an interesting feeling, like being exposed in a way that was enlightening and unexpected, I guess you could say. Yeah, but I mean, I should expect this if I'm posting videos of myself to be publicly viewed on the internet. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Got dressed for work, said goodbye and love you to everyone in the house, including the cats, and then I went to work. Here are some highlights from work, since the usual rigmarole of bagging, carting, and sweeping isn't really that interesting to discuss, and I think we already know the drill, so let's just go over some highlights. Apparently, there was a thievery that was happening last night. Someone threw a rock at a window that led inside the store I work at, and yeah, there was shattered glass on the floor. It was quite shocking to see. We discussed this, me and a coworker and some customers, about how strange it would be that someone thought it would be a good idea to do this, because and we know they're in their early 20s because we have security camera footage that captures who they were and their car and all that stuff. I mean, if they have the ability to go out and try to rob a store, then they have the ability to look for a gosh dang job and get stuff legitimately. Yeah, very ridiculous. All right, moving on. I received a lot from one of my coworkers, which was very nice. And then afterwards, I did a little bit of overtime on lot. I was supposed to be in after the second hour, but I was so caught up in the work that I didn't know until 2.5 hours in of doing carts when one of my other coworkers walked out and decided to take the reins. And after that, I realized that I was supposed to be on snack duty that whole time for that last half hour. For that whole hour, actually. Very unfortunate. And throughout all of this, my back started hurting. It was very, very painful, not going to lie. I honestly don't know where it came from. I think maybe I slept funny. That's the only explanation I could think of. But as soon as I was done with my snack giving away thing and putting all of the food away, I decided to ask one of my managers if I could go and take my first break, because I was supposed to take my first break after my second hour, but after the second hour I was apparently put on snack duty. I don't know why they did that. It was very strange. I guess like maybe I asked for my break, then the person who's doing snack duty has to work an extra 10 minutes before I come and take over. Very strange, but hey, what you gonna do? Any other highlights? No, I can't really think of anything. I guess I could talk about going home for lunch. I had 2 pork chops and a Haagen-Dazs ice cream on a stick, and that was very good. I even had some coffee after eating the ice cream. And as I was doing all of this, I was listening to the latest podcast from Digital Foundry known as DF Direct, which was quite fascinating to listen to. Always interesting to hear the latest in gaming technology and news, which is a field I am very interested in. I drove back to work, and the last 4 hours were pretty interesting. Most of the time was spent restocking bags in the check stands, and here's something interesting to talk about. The bags that we have now are different than the ones we normally have before, and it's hard to describe, but the texture on these new bags feels more slippery. And because it's more slippery, this makes it much more difficult to put these bags away in the check stands, because every time I try to stack them on top of each other, they slide away. And this means that it just makes it nigh impossible to get the bag restock done in a timely and efficient manner. Very annoying indeed. I did manage to get it done though, but at the cost of not being able to get all of my other nightly chores done before needing to punch out. In fact, I went a little over time having to do go backs, and on top of that wipe 3 check stands down. One of my managers, very cool guy, gave me a good hint for cleaning the check stands, and that was that I spray it to heck and back with a whole lot of the cleaning fluid, but he said just to do 1 spray pass, and that way you spend more time getting the dust off than having to constantly wipe all of the liquid away. And he said it was a much more time efficient way of doing it, which I didn't know until that moment. And I'm grateful to now know that, because that means I won't waste as much time wiping the check stands down for the future. So thank you. After that, I punched out, and I almost forgot to mention, one of my coworkers was asking if I could switch a day with them because they want a certain day off because their family member's coming to visit. And I said, for you, I do this because I know how important family is. Something like that anyways. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Anywho, I punched out, went in my car, and now I'm here sharing you this update. And boy, what an interesting day. It was a very introspective day. It was a very thoughtful day. And it was a very mindful day, I guess you could say. And I'm glad I lived through it. Tomorrow, I go to work from 12 to 9, and I'm sure there's plenty more to learn tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.